Well, hello there, and welcome back to the Tournament of the Old World, or Toto as I like to affectionately call it. So we've got Jeff the Ref, who's power posing to show us that things are a go-go. We're in the Orc Badlands for the final of the preliminary rounds here of the Tomb Kings, as we have High Queen Khalida's forces taking on Grand Hierophant Khatep's forces. Two mighty troops arrayed before us here, as we have Khalida's army consisting of Tomb Guards with halberds and Tomb Guards with swords, a popular combination we've seen so far, and 2 units of skeleton archers. She's brought her favourite that gave her a stunning victory over Cetra, a unit of Screaming Skull catapults, while she is riding atop a sepulchral stalker, I think, essentially, on the back there, giving her a bit more mobility. On her flank, she's got a unit of skeleton chariots, and on her right flank, she's also bringing a very powerful melee unit known as the Ushabti, which are another construct warrior made to look like the different gods of which they worship. And on the right flank, we also have a unit of skeleton horse archers. Across the way, facing her, is Grand Hierophant Khatep, who came off a rather impressive but close and nail-biting battle between Arkan the Black and himself. His forces consist of a unit of Nehekara horsemen, backed by several units of frontline fighters, namely a Tomb Guard with swords and Tomb Guards with halberds, as we know, some sepulchral stalkers, which he brought last time. They didn't do brilliantly, but they weren't bad either, alongside 2 units of skeleton horse archers and a unit of skeleton chariots. The Hierophant here this time being brought into battle atop his battle chariot with Fred, the horse driver there. So we'll see how this goes as both sides start to square off. Now, Khalida has the defense role in this one, which means she will be waiting for Khatep's attack as the Screaming Skull catapults come flying in this time, and it looks, unfortunately, once again, the AI has decided that it only wants to attack the Grand Hierophant rather than hitting any of the large body of infantry arrayed before them. Now, just to ignore the fact that sometimes you may see a unit bouncing up and down in the sky, I think that's something to do with the level of detail setting, despite the fact that this is all on Ultra, by the way. I'd also like to point out that this game has issues running well sometimes. I constantly try and tweak the settings to try and get good performance out of this game, and unfortunately, compared to Warhammer 2, which runs perfectly well with very, very large armies and no slowdown at all, I do occasionally get frame drops. You may see that in videos, and I do apologise for that. There's really nothing I can do unless I drop a lot of settings, which may not make it look as visually pleasing for you. So I do apologise for that at times. Some of the spell effects and the such do cause slowdown or lag or frame drops. And yeah, that's all in Creative Assembly, unfortunately. It's really my biggest complaint with the game. As I don't know what they've done, but they certainly caused a significant drop in performance by comparison. As the front line get squished together here, we've got a unit of Tomb Guards with halberds that are already on the brink of basically turning into a pile of bones. The Ushabti charging in alongside the Tomb Guard. The front line has already taken a significant beating, and the battle is still young. We're only a minute and 40 into the battle itself, and we've already got units that are a bit on the verge of breaking. Looks like Khalida here is protecting the flank, keeping a Screaming Skull catapult in the fight, but honestly, without it firing at any of these units, it's kind of pointless. It's not doing a lot. And this front line battle is well, it's brutal. And I'm pretty sure we're going to be seeing at least 2 units collapsing fairly soon, even with a couple of buffs being cast on them here and there. The Ushabti are really going to be the heavy hitters, though, for Khalida's force. They should be able to cause significant damage relatively quickly, but of course, Khatep's also got his own form of monstrous infantry in the Sepulchral Stalker, so we'll see how that goes for them. As we can see, the Horse Archers have been wedged in between the line here, and I don't think that's going to end well for them, alongside the Skeleton Chariots, which are a force that desperately need to stay mobile, but getting stuck in the melee fight here with the Sepulchral Stalkers is not going to end well for them. As we can see, they are just going to get chopped apart and left for dead. As Khatep has been running around dodging Screaming Skull catapult fire and has actually just inadvertently gotten a lot of his archers killed because the Screaming Skull catapults are, as I said, for some reason absolutely obsessed with launching rounds at him rather than firing at, oh, I don't know, the Sepulchral Stalkers, the skeleton archers at the back here. Hell, even throwing some skulls at the chariots would be useful at this point. But it's not to be, as another spell winds its way through the force. It's tearing apart, and there go the skeleton horse archers. It looks like the tomb guards with halberds are literally breaking apart. Same, although to be honest, that spell did just do a lot of damage to the tomb guard there of Khatep's troop. The Screaming Skull catapults are still firing on Khatep. He's very, very agile though with his chariot. It's allowing him to dodge all of those shots and completely nullifying the effect of the artillery. And yeah, it is a mystery why the AI just sometimes gets weirdly focused like this. But we saw with Khalida that hers were focusing infantry and not the leader of the army. So I don't know what's going on there. Meanwhile, over at the back, Khalida has been completely sidetracked. She hasn't been able to get into the fight to help her forces. She's been facing off against these Nehekara horsemen. And although she'd probably be doing good damage and all the rest of it, it's really too little too late, as unfortunately her army is basically dust at this point. The Ushabti will be able to get in a few good licks before they get killed. These Screaming Skull catapults are now being attacked, and it won't be long before their crews turn into a pile of bones as well, as the Ushabti are going to eventually collapse. We'll probably see that soon with them. They will suddenly just all freeze in place and fall over, because they're just animated statues, essentially. And in fact, there goes one of them there. Bonk. As that's pretty much going to happen to the entire force in a second. Regardless of how many big blast spells that Khalida chucks over every now and then, it is not going to be enough, especially with those... Oh, in fact, there they all go, all at the same time. Boom, boom, boom. And that's it. That's the Ushabti out of the fight. The Sepulchral Stalkers have still got ammo, so if they need to, they can sit back and fire. The Tomb Guard there are going to fall apart. It's really just going to leave Khalida. And I'm pretty sure Jeff left this one running for a while. So if we just kind of speed things up here, we can kind of see just what was going on. As Khalida was desperately trying, you know, bless her heart. She was doing the best she could under trying circumstances. Honestly, I thought she would have had this one. She had all the right forces. She had the artillery. She had the ability to do a lot of damage very quickly. But as we can see from the time lapse here, from the speed up, it's a very long-winded, very slow eventual defeat of her as a unit. And there we go. And Jeff will call it there. Spared everybody a very long-winded battle there at the end. So what did we have, essentially? We had two forces that weren't too vastly different in size, 625 to 582. Khalida definitely had the advantage in terms of numbers, but she did not bring those to bear. She had a unit of Skeleton Archers that did 0 kills, another unit that did 2. Her Tomb Guard with halberds got 8 kills, her Tomb Guard with swords got 24. Actually, her most effective unit was the Chariots this time, getting 56, but the Ushabti 73, the Skeleton Horse Archers 6, and the Screaming Skull Catapults got 33, and I think that was by dint of accidental hit of a unit when it was trying to hit Khatep. Obviously, Khalida got 113, but it doesn't really mean much when she was the last thing on the field. Across the way, though, we can see that Khatep's forces, and congratulations to Khatep for moving on, he will represent the Tomb Kings in the Grand Tournament of the Old World. But we can see that his units across the board generally did a lot better. The Horsemen obviously got 0, but that's because they were just tied up fighting her all the time. But the rest of the units did pretty decent. Double figures across the board up for all of them. Triple figures for that of 121. Very good for a Skeleton Archers unit. So, yeah. Some interesting choices by the AI. Some pretty balanced forces overall. And I think Khatep definitely gave us our highlight battle between himself and Arkan the Black. But we'll see how they do later on in the Grand Tournament of the Old World. Next up will be, I believe, the Vampire Coast. So another undead-themed faction of sea shanty singing pirate vampires. So we'll see how that goes next time. We'll see. I'll see you then. Have a good one. And, yeah. Thanks for watching. Bye-bye.